Hello, I am back. I wanted to hop on here. I was going to film the level 6 lecture and get that uploaded, but I realized that I accidentally deleted the level 4 lecture. So we're going to do the level 4 lecture again, and this is all going to be a part of the TTC playlist for the tarot training course. It's a 6-week program, and it's designed for the students of Third Eye Fortunes. That way, if they miss a class, if they miss a lecture, they can re-listen to the lecture here. Or if they want to rehear the lecture they have already heard, they can also do that here as well. And also, if you're not a student of Third Eye, but you're interested in hearing the lecture, you can do that here as well. So, level 4, this is the tarot training course. And in level 4, we're going to be breaking down the minor arcana, the numerology, and the suits, okay? And if you see me looking down here at my computer, it's because I'm reading off of my lecture notes. So let's get right into the class. Give me just a moment to pull this up. I'm filming this live too, so that'll give some people a chance to hop on here if they want to catch this live. All right, so what is the minor arcana? The 56 minor arcana cards reflect the trials and tribulations that we experience on a daily basis. Even though the minor arcana cards are called minor, it doesn't mean that these tarot cards won't have a significant impact in your life. These tarot cards relate to what's happening in your daily life and can offer insight into how your present situation is affecting you and what steps you need to take to manifest your own goals. The minor arcana cards typically have a temporary influence. They represent an energy that is moving through your life in the current moment, and that can be easily changed depending upon the actions that you take. What is numerology? Now, we touched on this in some of the earlier levels, but especially with the suits, we're going to be getting back into this. So to define numerology and reiterate it again, numerology is a belief in the divine or mystical relationship between a number and one or more coinciding events. It is also the study of numerical value of the letters and words, names and ideas. It is often associated with the paranormal alongside astrology and similar divinatory arts. What is a suit? Now, we also have talked about this in prior levels, but I would like to touch back on this, especially because it does have a large influence here in the minor arcana class. So the suits in tarot represent the 4 primal elements of earth, air, fire, and water: swords, wands, coins, cups. These relate to different aspects in life, such as passions, emotions, intellect. Think of the suits as kingdoms separate from the others in its own divine way. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about complementary, contrasting suits and the kingdoms. The suits are like kingdoms and they don't all get along. For instance, earth and water are complementary elements. Water nourishes earth, and the same can be said for air and fire. Air fuels and inspires fire. There are also contrasting elements or kingdoms that don't get along. Air and water are rival suits as they are opposite. The heart and the mind are so often at war. The mind would be air, the heart would be fire. Fire and earth are also rival suits. Fire scorches the earth and earth suffocates the fire. This concept of complementary and contrasting elemental kingdoms can play a beneficial role in your tarot readings. If you have a earth and water cards side by side in a spread, that could give a deeper message of these elements working together for a purpose or cause. If you have water and air side by side, this could indicate issues with the mind and heart not being in alignment, as these are opposing forces, okay? Because the elemental kingdoms are not all friends. I have a quote here: air my thoughts, water my emotions, fire my spirit, and earth my body. Now, let's now kind of get into some of this numerology here within the minor arcana. So an easy way to get to know the 40 numbered cards of the tarot or the pip cards is through basic numerology. I know that for myself, when I first started learning tarot, I was super overwhelmed with the idea that there was 56 minor arcana cards, and trying to learn all of that, memorize all of that, attune myself with all of that, as well as the reversals, so multiply it by 2, can be very overwhelming. However, I think that by breaking the minor arcana down into easily digestible pieces through numerology makes a lot more sense and a lot more manageable. So here are some keywords to get us started here with our number categories. First, we have our aces. Aces are going to represent new beginnings, opportunity, and potential. This is the first card of the suit and serves as a summary for the entire suit, similar to how the summary of a book serves as a summary for the entire book. Twos are about balance and partnership, duality. Okay, twos are all about decisions, connections. And you can see that where 1 and 1 will make 2, connections coming together, 2, right? 3 is creativity. This represents itself through groups and growth. They say that 3 is a crowd. Remember that, because that's going to come into effect once we're pulling these cards. The thing about group effort and community is very much linked with 3s. 4 is structure, stability, and manifestation. 4 is 4 seasons, 4 is 4 corners, 4 is balance. 4 is the foundation. Think of 4 legs of a table. So at the 3, we're working on achieving some of that balance. We're working in groups. We're working on our growth, versus 4 is we have that growth. We have that balance. 4 is the stability, the manifestation, the foundation, the 4 legs of our table. 5 is where things usually get a little rocky. 5 is the number of power, because you have earth, air, fire, water, and spirit. You have the pentacle there, so it's a powerful number. And this is where things can get rocky. 5 can represent instability, conflict, competition, failure, sometimes even. 5s are the number of power in numerology, okay? So it's going to be a heavy card. 6 is about communication, transition, and harmony. 6s are very attuned in with the idea of movement and progress. And that's going to kind of follow in a little bit with 7, which is about strategies, challenge, and perseverance. 7s are about facing those obstacles in order to make that progress, right? 8s are about mastery, action, accomplishment. 8s are all about commitment, right? So think of the number 8 as like the eternity symbol on its side. That's the commitment there. 9s are fruition, attainment, and fulfillment. Contentment even. So 9s are about things kind of coming to a close. Because 10 is the completion, the end of that cycle, as well as the renewal and promise of a new cycle. So 10s are the beginning and the end. One door closes, another opens, right? 9 is kind of the process of that coming to an end, if that makes sense. So, you know, what we do in part of this class, and this video will only have the lecture information on it, but one of the things that we do in this class, and that I would encourage anyone to do who's watching, who's not currently a student, is take these numerical categories, you know, with your ACE and then 2 through 10, and keep in mind about what we're talking about, what these numbers mean, what they represent, and go through your suits, your pip cards, and get all of the swords, all of the coins, all of the cups, all of the wands, and separate them out, you know, in chronological order to ace through 10, and look at some of these themes going on throughout all 4 elemental kingdoms while you are checking in with these numerical values here, because you're going to see how each of the elemental kingdoms experience these numbers kind of at the same pace and in a similar fashion, but in different ways, if that makes sense, right? For instance, 2 is all about connections, right? So if that comes up in cups, we're talking about an emotional connection, versus if it comes up in, you know, pentacles or coins, we're talking about a grounded, stable connection, either from a heart space or a physical, possibly financial space, right? So you're going to be looking at these numbers differently based upon what elemental kingdom lens you're looking at these numbers through. So something to keep in mind. And we go over a lot more of this in the class as well. But I wanted to kind of film this quick video here, especially because I had deleted the original. So we talked about what the minor arcana is, minor arcana, minor secrets. We talked about numerology, and we kind of defined that, as well as talking about what a suit is, what complementary and contrasting suits mean, what the elemental kingdoms are, and we also went through the properties of the numerical values in tarot. So yeah, that's going to be all for this lecture. It's a shorter lecture. And yeah, I will be hopping on here in just a few doing